Brought to you by Penguin.
A Modern Way to Live. Written and read by Matt Gibberd. For Faye, Indigo, Wren and Etta. A house isn't a home without all of you in it. Introduction. When I was a child, weekends were often spent skimming planks of stale supermarket bread across the pond on Hampstead Heath, where they were hoovered with relish by expectant mallards. If I managed to achieve the right trajectory, the bread might even land in the garden of the house on the opposite side of the water. Sometimes I imagine the owner clearing crusts off his lawn with a shovel, muttering, "Those pesky kids," under his breath. The place always fascinated me, with its exaggerated roof overhang and glass bricks stacked up in grids. It looked like the sort of fantastical folly I might build out of Lego on my bedroom floor. 30 years later, I'm now standing inside the entrance hall of the house, where it is apparent that the glass bricks serve a practical purpose, editing out the view of the neighbouring houses and shattering the shafts of sunlight into coruscating pieces. A cast concrete staircase zigzags through the space with the geometric drama of an M.C. Escher lithograph. Running my hand across the smooth pink marble balustrade, I descend to the lower floor, where cooking, dining and relaxing all take place in a single open-plan room. I notice a network of tracks on the ceiling and begin to pull primary-coloured curtains across the space to subdivide it, completely changing the atmosphere. The mosaic floor tiles shift from blue to white as they drop into the sunken dining area, which is presented as a celebration of the eating ritual. A set of Eames wire chairs surround a slate-top table, its circular shape echoed by the mandala cast into the concrete ceiling above. As I move through to the back of the space, a built-in bench topped with a velvet-covered pad encourages me to sit down and admire the majesty of the trees outside. Later, I ascend to the bedroom on the first floor, where the view of the heath is tantalizingly concealed behind a full wall of opaque glass bricks. But then I notice a band of clear glazing at thigh level, and taking a seat on the bed, realize that my interaction with the landscape is being deliberately orchestrated. In one corner of the room is an open-plan shower and basin, with a loo tucked away behind a little blue door. The copper pipework is celebrated rather than concealed, and dramatically juts out across the room to act as an unconventional divider. This is, I conclude, the most thoughtful and intensely personal house I've ever visited, and exploring its interior takes me back to the childlike sense of wonder I experienced when I first encountered it all those years ago. It's spilt from the fertile mind of a little-known architect called Brian Housden, who took inspiration from the Maison de Verre in Paris and the Rietveld Schroeder House in Utrecht to create a radical beacon of European modernism in the genteel streets of North London. It was his life's work. Housden, his wife, and their 3 young daughters moved into the house in 1964, but nothing was finished. There was a standpipe in the kitchen and a temporary lavatory. The structure was finally completed a couple of years later, but the interior evolved over the ensuing decades as funds allowed. One of their daughters, Tess Housden, explains, "Slowly, doors, shelving and cabinets were added over a period of years. Dad did a City and Guilds course in woodworking and bought a machine in order to make the furniture himself. It took a long time and it was definitely a labour of love. When we first moved here, when I was a baby, we slept in camp beds under the stairs. All the kids on the street would come over. We used to run through the house and then jump from the terrace onto the sand that was being used for the build. It was like a giant playground." Brian Housden was always encouraged by his contemporaries to get the house listed. He approached English Heritage in 2002, but brutalism was still regarded with suspicion and nothing came of it. It wasn't until 2014 that its importance as a national monument was finally recognised, and the house was granted a Grade 2
Sample complete. Ready to continue?